Hello, welcome to the first of 2 videos for adding a new participant in Tobi. This video will cover entering basic demographics and Medicaid information. Let's get started. The only role with authority to add a new participant in Tobi is the Access Site role. If you are an Access Site person, when you log into Tobi, you will see your Access Site dashboard. To add a new participant, from the screen to the top right, you'll click the New or the plus button. This will bring you to a blank participant screen. The red asterisk fields are fields of which are required: last name, first name, phone number, social security number, and the county are required fields to save a participant. So we'll start with the last name. And we're just going to make up this information as we go. This is our training system. So used for Cheetah. And then we'll add a phone number here. And we will add a social security number. And then we'll skip down to add the county. Well, here's a helpful hint. If you enter the zip code, the county and state will automatically populate. Oops, and there, this information populated for us. So then we will go to the top and click Save. Uh-oh, we have an error. This error says that the record already exists with the SSN we entered. And it tells us the participant's unique ID, who the owner is, and the owner's primary email. This is a process intended to prevent duplicate entries into Tobi. The system checks the RID and the social security number against the data that has previously been entered into the system. If the system finds a match, Tobi is designed to pop up with this information. It could be that maybe you forgot that you have already entered this person, or maybe someone else from your agency has entered the information, or possibly it could be assigned to DMHA. If you find that it's assigned with DMHA, you will need to contact your site coach to have the participant assigned to you. To get past the error, we are going to click OK. And then we go back to the social security number and enter a new one. Hopefully this will be a unique number. Oops. And then we will save again. Okay, so it looks like that one is going to take. So now that you see the record has been saved, and you know that it's been saved because on the left side, the top, you'll see the participant's last name. On the right side of the top of the screen, you will see the first name, the last name, the participant ID, and the participant ID is assigned, each participant is assigned a unique number, the participant ID, after the information has been saved. And this participant ID should be used in your communications about this individual. So when submitting a help desk ticket or discussing issues about this case with your site coach, you can use this participant ID number, which here is 1502, to identify the person you want to talk about instead of giving out any protected health information about the participant. So once we have that information, we're going to continue to fill out the demographic information. So if there's a middle initial, you can add that middle initial here. We already have the primary phone number. If there's a fax number that needs to be added, we can do that as well. On the second column, we already have our social security number and then the RID number. So this individual should already have a RID because a RID is required to be eligible for CMHW services. So in this case, because we're making this information up, we're going to add a RID as an example. So a RID is always going to be 12 characters, and it's always going to start with 10 or 102, and it's always going to end in 99. If the criteria is not met, then the RID will not save. The next field is an email address. So if the person has an email address, you can add that there. Secondary phone number, if you wanted to add a phone number. The owner, so the owner will automatically populate into Tobi here based on who's entering the information. So that should be your ID or your owner information. And then the current PRTF and the current MFP PRTF, those fields are not required. And in fact, if you look, you'll see a little lock next to the title of each field. And that means that nothing can be entered there anyway. Then on to the third column, we will see the unique participant ID. And that, like I said, has been already recorded when we saved the person's name. Then if there's a spouse or partner, you can add that information here. And a date of birth. So we add a date of birth. You can either type the information in, or you can use the drop-down calendar here. So we're going to go back to, oops, wrong way. You can click down for years, or if you wanted to go up, you could go up. And we'll just put June 4th of 2014. And then if there's any other phone number you want to put there, if you had to, you could add it. I always like to save my information after each section so that I don't lose anything. So when I go up here and hit save, you will see then that the age did populate based on the date of birth that I entered. So I'll scroll down a little bit further. One more section here for this page, you'll see is the address information. So the street and street address, and there's also an option for a second street address here. And because we added that zip code, the state, city, and zip is already populated with, in addition to the county. And again, we'll just save that because it's another little section. And then additional demographics. So here we're going to fill in the participant's gender, what the referral source is. So how did we hear about this person? The location of the participant at time of application. His or her marital status can be added here. The living arrangement. So if they live, with their parents or in a foster home, you can add that information here. And then the ethnicity. So the ethnicity is Hispanic or Latino or non-Hispanic and Latino. Okay, so then we're just going to hit save again so that all of our information about this participant is saved. And then we're going to move across to the next tab, which is contact methods. So the contact methods screen is going to appear with when any contact is entered to indicate preference for communication. This is not required, but if you think it will be helpful, you can fill it in. You can choose if they have a preference of how they would like to be communicated with. So if this person wants to be communicated only by phone, that's fine. All types of communication will default to allow, but if they do not want you to contact them, you just click it and you can choose do not allow. And then you can just toggle back and forth between allow and do not allow. So we'll mark that as do not allow. And then we will save. And we'll move to the third tab, which is Medicaid information. So this tab is completely based on the RID number for the participant that is on the general information tab. Tobi has a daily feed to receive and update Medicaid information. For this case, this field here is blank. This information is blank because the RID number that I entered for the participant is not real. You should see some completed data in these fields if the individual is a Medicaid recipient. You should not change any of this information. When updates are needed, information will be imported from the daily transmission from the Medicaid office. So this concludes the video for adding general demographics for a participant in Tobi. Be sure to watch the second video for adding the supplemental information for a new participant. Thank you for watching.